Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning and welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Bill Allen. I'm sitting in for Winston Chester today. The coach is probably fishing, but today is Tuesday, June the 13th. And first of all, let's look at the weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center. We've got a high today that's going to be around 85 with a low of 72. And we've got what's going to start out as an east wind moving to south. It's only supposed to be about 5 to 10, and you can always add a little bit to that. We've got, however, a 50% chance of showers, which is, we're pretty much in our summer pattern right now. I think the rest of the week we've got that same chance of showers. The moon is just on the backside of being full, which is still a factor. So you've got about 90% illumination with that. That, as we all know, makes it a little tough trying to fish. High tides today. The high is at 12:41 p.m. and the low is at 11:12 p.m. and you've got about 1.5 feet of water moving, so it's a good tide. Sunrise, of course, is around 5:40 and sunset at about 7:44. Peak fishing times are 2:40 to 4:40 a.m. and the most likely time would be 3:03 to 5:03 this afternoon, and by then you'll have a good strong fall in tide. Maybe you'll compensate for a little bit of the big bright moon. Taking a look at our river readings, Apalachicola at Bluntstown is at 9.4, and it's falling pretty hard starting yesterday and today. You're going to see it in a couple of days go to about 5 feet. So if you like the water moving at the river, now is the time to do it. Of course, we had that big swell last week up to 9 feet. Choctawhatchee at Caryville is at 6.8, and it's pretty steady going into the end of the week, somewhere right around that level. It's not a whole lot of movement there, but of course, depending on how much rain we get, it's more affected by local rain. We have a very special guest this morning, and we're going to be talking about something that should be near and dear to everybody's hearts as concerning our bay system here. So we're going to take this quick break and be right back with our guest. Good morning again and welcome back. As most of you can see, or most of you know, I'm joined here by Bill Dozier, our District 3 Commissioner, right?
Right.
I try to keep that straight.
Right.
Guy I've known for a pretty good while, and Bill, as a lot of you know, has been really concerned and really working on the old pass situation, and we've had a couple of conversations, and I was really surprised to find out how much progress has been made. But Bill, and I think your background is unique to helping this the progress of this. So just tell us a little bit about from whence you came.
Well, I grew up here in Bay County from 1970 on. We moved here in 1970, graduated from Bay High School. Shortly after school, I went to work for Bay County and worked for Bay County in various departments, Parks and Recreation. And so then I went in the Army. When I was in the Army, I was trained at surveying. So I came out of the Army as a surveyor, and not a licensed surveyor, but just as a surveyor. Didn't have my license. Came back to work for Bay County in the engineering department, and was surveying with Bay County.
Yeah.
And so I've been in various departments, road department, Parks and Recreation, various other departments with Bay County as well.
Yeah, and that, to my point, the survey and engineering background, I'm sure once you started this old pass project, it kind of helped you to speak the language a little bit or understand some of what they were asking of us and that kind of thing.
It did. I mean, I understood what we were looking at, the situation, and what we were up against. And so, you know, as we were moving forward with trying to make some progress with opening the old pass, I was able to, the people that I spoke to, I understood what they were saying.
Right. It's a massive undertaking,
Right.
without question. But why pick the old pass?
Well, the old pass, as you probably remember, back in 2001, they did an experimental opening, and of course, prior to that, the old pass was opened, and then through a series of events, the old pass closed on its own, and that's after in 1934, when the St. Andrews Pass was cut, the hydraulics kind of kicked in and started closing the old pass. But so in 2001, they did an experimental opening, and it closed right up in 2003.
Right.
And but the state DEP would not allow the county to do any maintenance on it or to do any work on it to keep it open.
So it was a test.
It was a test. That's right. And so, you know, as I saw that, I just felt that we needed to, you know, to pick the torch up and run with it, to get permission to go ahead and open it up permanently. And so that's what we've been striving for, is to do a permanent opening so we can maintain it and do whatever it takes to keep it open for that flow of fresh seawater coming into our bay system.
Yeah, and in the conversations that we've had, it's you're approaching it, which I think is the right way to do it, is from an environmental impact standpoint. When you look at the conditions of the water quality in the bay since that's been closed, and I don't think it's any great mystery that, you know, we started losing scallops in our bay when that pass was closed permanently.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. When, you know, as that closed, we could see the connection with the scallops going away and several other things being affected as well. And so slowly but surely, as the population grows around the bay system, and you have so many different factors, stormwater runoff and all that other stuff, but without a good flushing of the bay system, getting the fresh seawater to come in and out more than what we can just do in our St. Andrews Pass. Without that, I think our bay is headed, you know, it's going to be headed in a downhill.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and take this quick break, and then we'll be right back to continue the discussion. All right, welcome back again here with Commissioner Bill Dozier. And the discussion, kind of where we left it off, was, you know, in the water quality of the bay and the scallops. I mean, it's a huge bay to try to flush out of that one pass. And of course, the reason the old pass stayed open, I think, for as long as it did, was because it got the usage.
Right.
And then, you know, after all the commercial traffic starts going out of the new pass, if you will, and you just don't have that, you know, continuously being cleaned out. So, you know, as far as the water quality just for swimming, but for scallops, for fishing, obviously, you know, I mean, and we know how much that contributes to our economy here locally. So, you know, it's something everybody should be well concerned about. Now you've got some pictures here that I found fascinating from the 2001. And something that I didn't know about the angle they took versus what the original pass was.
Right, yeah. I'll show you these pictures I've got here. In 2001, you can see in December of 2001 when they completed the experimental opening of the pass. And then in 2003, July of 2003, you can see where it's closed up, or actually, I'd say 90% closed up, because I'm going to show you one in 2004 which completely closed up. But and they took it. The angle they took was more at a drastic angle, closer to a 90 than at the 45 that was originally opened up. So I think that had something to do with the closing, making it close so fast, along with the storms that rolled through and all at that time as well. So. These pictures are you know, very clear about what happened in that short period of time of closing it up, without being able to do any maintenance to it or doing anything, just letting it sit.
Yeah, and it was astounding to me. In 2 years, it just really drastically changed. And of course, you know, I guess with the aid of a couple of well-timed or poorly timed storms.
Yeah.
You know, bringing that sand in, and it shifting like that was
That's right.
really amazing.
It was.
And then you had you've got one from what?
This was 2004. The next year, the larger picture, and it shows how it's completely closed off. There's just no water flow at all in there.
Yeah, it's if you hadn't seen the other picture, you'd never know anything was there.
That's right. And then fast forward to 2010, and it's the similar thing. You know, showing where it's blocked off. It's just more of an updated picture.
Yeah, almost no evidence of it being there at all.
Yeah.
So, to take this project, to take this project on, I mean, what did you do to get it kicked off?
Well, what we did was we set up meetings over in Tallahassee, and we went over and spoke to the Beaches and Shores arm of the DEP.
Okay.
And we went over, our staff and myself, we went over there and sat down and spoke with them and about getting a permit, and they explained to us what we needed to do to get a permit. Of course, they're not in favor of doing this.
I can only imagine.
And so we have to prove to them through a study that that it's necessary. And they said their idea is Mother Nature close it up, let Mother Nature open it back up. And we feel different than that. We feel that it's vital that we open it up for the life of our bay. And so we talked to DEP. And didn't get anywhere with them, and they explained to us the steps we need to take. But then also we spoke to, at that time was Congressman Boyd in office, and talked to him in Washington about getting some funding for the Corps of Engineers to work with us on that, and that didn't work out. You know, so long story short, fast forwarding to today, you know, we have. Of course, we went through a period where we had the oil spill, and then the down economy. The economy just tanked out, and we were in a position financially where we could not just put money into studies that we needed.
The revenue dropped.
The revenue dropped dramatically, and so. But today we have the restore money that we're looking at utilizing, and we put in for into the restore a request for $1 million. To focus directly on the East Pass, on the old pass, and to do the study and to several other things along with that, but primarily to take steps towards getting a permit from the state to allow us to open it up.
Right.
And so that's where we're headed. And once where that request is it's going to be at the federal level through the Treasury, and they'll give us the okay on it hopefully shortly.
Right. Well, and it's, you know, one could make the argument, I guess, with the EPA that Mother Nature didn't necessarily close that pass, because when we built the new one and diverted all the traffic, you know, the natural boat traffic that was being used through there kept that open. So you essentially took away what was keeping it open.
You did, yeah. When the St. Andrews Pass was cut in 1934, the hydraulics changed in our bay system there and started closing it up. And now, of course, you know, we don't want to do anything to jeopardize that pass. That is a shipping channel, and we want to make sure that that's always kept open and the depth that we need. But at the same time, I think it's vital that we work towards opening the old pass and reopening it.
Yeah, I agree. And I know, you know, a few years ago there was a big push on it, and then, you know, it got quiet there for a little bit. And so when we talked, I was really amazed, you know, and impressed with how far it had got. I mean, you've never let it go, right? This has been on the forefront of.
That's right. We've never let it go. We've always been pushing on this and working on it behind the scenes. And I've been approached by a number of people that thinks that they asked me, did y'all just drop that? I thought you were going to move forward with it. We haven't dropped it. We've been working on it. It just has not been out in the front of the public because a lot of the work we've been doing is behind the scenes and trying to get the money to be able to go forward with the study.
Well, when projects get mired, for lack of a better word, with the state and permitting and studies, you know, just to get to the point where you could have a reasonable discussion or reasonable chances of success. I mean, that's not front page, the headlines kind of thing that you hear.
You're right, and you know, I don't agree that. I mean, personally, because I've watched this and we've all watched it growing up here, that a study's necessary. We know what we need to do, and so, but the state says that's one of the areas, that's one of the hoops we have to jump through in order to get a permit. That's why we're having to go this route. And I can look at the situation. We can all look at it and say,
navigating red tape.
Right.
Basically.
Exactly. Yeah. So, so we have to do. They have the big hammer. We don't. Tallahassee tells us what to do. As long as we're doing what they say, moving in the direction that we need to move in, and I believe eventually we'll get there. We just got to stay on it and not let up. Not back up on it.
Right. Keep applying. Keep applying the pressure and keep applying to keep it in somebody's thought or in basket all the time.
That's right.
Okay. All right, fantastic. Let's go ahead and take this quick break, and then we'll be right back for the last segment. Okay, welcome back. I hope you've enjoyed the conversation, and there's plenty more to come. So, you know, Bill, you've kept this on track. You've kept it at the forefront, and are feeling pretty good about where we are, you know, as far as going forward on getting this really accomplished.
Right. Yeah, I do. And you know, the commission that we have, the 5 commissioners, everybody from is on board with this, wanting to move this forward. So the commission is behind it, and so as we have opportunities to move it forward, we're going to do it.
Yeah, and you know, it's as I've said in the past, and you know, like with Greg Brudnicki and with you, I don't want to put y'all in that same boat, but you know what I mean. I don't know who, yeah, but it's when you have people in office, and when you keep people in office who have an outdoors background. You know, you've got a big family that you camp, hunt, fish with. That's right. Like me now with grandchildren that you're doing the same with. So, you know, people who understand the needs of the outdoorsman and also the importance of those activities to our local economy. Yeah. You know, which again I think is extraordinarily important when you start looking at the people that we put in office, that background is there, and I certainly appreciate it. And just to continue that conversation a little bit, that's not the only projects that you've got going, right? Yeah,
we have several things going where we've, I'll give you a quick example. We've acquired the property up there on 2301 at Cherokee Landing. Yeah. We bought that property to improve the boat ramp and to put a small park out there for people to be able to have a picnic and all. It's a great place up there at Cherokee Landing to be able to fish, and so we're doing some improvements up there. Yeah,
that's a great access point.
It is
to the lake. Yeah, and to the creek, and
absolutely.
You know, it's not been in the best of conditions in the past. You know, privately, but you know, now a nice landing there, like you said, with to draw people to be able to come out there, and a place for the kids when they're running around. I mean, and parking. Yeah, now, that's fantastic.
It is. It's great fishing up there too. There's a few secret holes up there that people know about.
Yes, it's some of those same secret holes that everybody gets. But I love to. I've got a friend, Howard Pfizer, that lives up on the lake, and we have fly fished. Oh yeah. Up there for many years, and that's not far from his home over there, and so you know, very convenient to get in to access a real good part of the lake. And I was excited to hear about that, but then and there's also
we're also trying to work with the water management to acquire some property up there off of 388 where you can find a creek crosses. And what we want to do is just have a place for the people, the kayakers and canoers, and give them a place to get out of their canoe, a safe place away from the road. Yeah. And then have some parking up there and a little picnic area, similar to what is on Highway 20 up the spring.
Where you start.
You start up there, and so we're working in that direction and making a little bit of progress, but it's going to take a little time. But you know, we're going to stay on that.
Yeah, and that's a very popular pastime, not only with locals going up there, but with from the tourists that are down here visiting. You know, I know they have a ton of people and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
If you've never done it, if you've never gone down, you can find in a canoe from up there.
Right.
It's absolutely gorgeous
It
area.
is. I've always said if there's any one place that I could settle and build a house on, it'd be you can find a creek.
Yeah, that's true. It's beautiful. So that would be that would be a big plus.
Yeah.
Big plus for making it is a little bit where you get out. It's not as good as where you put in.
Yeah, so. And that's what we're wanting to do, and make it where we partner with the water management to patrol the area and to just keep it a safe area, a nice, clean place.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're trying to do. We've also got up at Harder's Park, the golf course up at Harder's Park is taking a different direction. So we're working towards different activities that we can do up there. But one of the things that people will be able to do now, there's several ponds on the property. And I've spoken to a number of the residents who live around there who've gotten out and they've gotten a lot of bass out of there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so there's fish. It's catch and release. You don't want to keep the fish because of the what's under all that. But it used to be a landfill, before, and we built that golf course on that landfill.
Right.
And so it's a lot of fun to catch the fish up there, just catch and release.
Sure.
And there's a number of fish in there.
Which we ought to be practicing anyway, but that's another thing I'm not going to go to.
Yeah.
But what is the direction of that now? What other than those ponds, being...
Yeah. We're looking at immediately, of course, letting people fish in there and then doing walking trails around there. But the Parks and Recreation Board is taking all that in, taking comments from everybody, and they've had already one public hearing and have a second one, and then put suggestions together from the public, and then pass them to us, and we're going to make a decision on the finally what we do up there.
Yeah.
And we want it to be low impact.
Yeah, and that's great, not just letting it go.
Right.
And in some place that you could take kids and go and hit some of those ponds.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we're out of time. We could do this for probably 2 hours, but Bill, thank you for what you've done.
Well, thank you.
And thank you for coming on to share it with everybody. So listen, have a great day, do something good for somebody, and we'll talk to you later.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.